strategy from Harris was a Google strategy. She wanted Fox viewers to start to Google some of the things.
Okay, so it's been about 24 hours since Kamala Harris did that disaster of a Fox interview, and I did exactly what CNN asked me to do. They asked me, or told me, hey, go and Google everything about Kamala Harris. Well, one of the biggest Google searches right now is that Kamala Harris is getting absolutely destroyed in the poly market polls right now. 62% to 38% in favor of Trump. Now, again, this was less than 24 hours after the Fox Kamala interview. Is this a direct correlation because of this interview? Well, throughout the internet, you had a lot of negative criticism towards Kamala, except for a few left-leaning publications who tried to spin it as, oh, it was great, it was very fiery, and it was very testy. Well, now Kamala actually has some even worse news because Elon Musk is going really, really hard right now in Pennsylvania, trying to gain some votes for Donald Trump. In fact, even Kamala's colleagues seem to have a bit of an issue with this.
Elon Musk out on the campaign trail on Donald Trump's behalf. You said something recently to Chris Stirewalt that he appeals to demographics that your party has struggled with. How much impact do you think he could have on this race?
No, that's significant. I've always said that it is significant. You know, in the business, you know, a lot of surrogates really doesn't count for much, but Musk, it's undeniable that he's successful. He's the world's richest man, and he's been involved in a lot of important things like SpaceX or AI and those things. And he has a brand, and that's attractive to a demographic that we need to have to win in Pennsylvania.
So you heard it straight from Senator John Fetterman that this could actually be a big problem. And again, I am doing what CNN wanted me to do. I did some Googling, and Elon is going in on Kamala and Biden right now in Pennsylvania.
The dude has like barely got 2 functional neurons. So, you know, it's like, and he just seems to be at the beach a lot. And so he's obviously not in charge. So I mean, when the polls started going low on Biden, he was saying, oh, he's staying in the race, but then I guess the real powers that be told him he's not, you know? It's like,
so who is it that's behind him? We know Obama, okay, but Obama...
I mean, I'm just as curious as you are. You know, it is as far as I can determine, there isn't any one sort of puppet master. It's more like there's 1,000 or, I don't know, a lot. So, but I mean, I'd like to talk to them to understand more about, listen, what are your goals, puppet masters? I'm just curious.
Okay, so Elon has become a big problem right now for the Democrats, to include Kamala Harris. And isn't it kind of crazy when you think about it? The world's richest man somehow has become more relatable to the majority of us than Kamala Harris, not the world's richest man or woman. So again, right now, Elon Musk, as I make this video, he's going all over Pennsylvania, campaigning for Donald Trump. Again, most of these rallies, it's just pretty much him hating on Kamala, hating on Joe Biden, and pretty much making them look like fools. Okay, here's my quick disclaimer. I already feel kind of weird and uncomfortable even reporting this story, but this is all over the news right now, so I have to talk about it. Again, I don't know if it's 100% true. You can go and look through the tapes yourself. But apparently, the New York Post hired a professional lip reader who reportedly deciphered Biden and Obama and agreed that Kamala is not as strong a candidate as Biden would have been. Again, I am not into this kind of stuff. I'm not into like the body language readers, but if you believe it, that's fine. If you don't, that's also fine. In my personal opinion, I think we know how Joe Biden feels about Kamala Harris. I think we know that Joe Biden is kind of annoyed that Kamala has been essentially discrediting him because Kamala really has no choice. She has to discredit him. She has to say, look, I'm not going to do what we're doing now because people don't like what's happening now. So again, if you want to, go on X, go on YouTube, go find this clip. I'm not going to play the full thing. Apparently, he said she is not as strong as him, but you can go look into that yourself.
Yeah, can you believe that was said? And Hunter Biden's laptop presence decline and so on.
Yeah, I mean, during the Trump-Kamala debate, she said there was no active duty soldiers out there. I'm like, I know a whole bunch of them. What are you talking about? That's a shameful, terrible lie. And she wasn't even fact-checked. And I'm like, are you kidding?
Okay, I totally forgot to mention this part, and I think it's really important. We have to understand, yes, Elon Musk is the world's richest man, but we need to know this, that Elon Musk controls X. He owns X. And the reason why that is super relevant, out of every single platform, X right now is where everyone and a majority of people consume all of their news. So you have to understand, Elon can literally control and push the narrative he wants to push. I am not saying that in a negative or bad way. What I'm saying is Elon knows that he can pull clips that make Kamala look terrible or make Biden look bad or Obama or anybody trying to help Kamala. He can make them look absolutely terrible because how the algorithm works, Elon is the king of his platform and he can push it any way he wants. Again, I am not claiming that Elon is doing something evil here. What I am saying, though, is you need to understand this is a massive deal that Elon can control the narrative on the #1 platform that everyone around the world uses when it comes to news and consuming news. These clips are super powerful, believe it or not, because right now, the independent and underground media is massive. Nobody is watching the mainstream news. The only reason why people saw any of that Kamala interview is because it got blasted all over in clips. Even in my video, it had over 200,000 views, and that was probably more people that actually watched the interview or the entirety of the interview. But like, all joking aside, understand the independent media on the conservative side of things, it is massive to have Elon along with it. And that is why you saw CNN say, we are a little concerned right now that this guy is campaigning for Trump. Beyond the fact that he's the world's richest man, he is controlling the narrative right now on the #1 news app on the internet and all over the world. Now, the last thing I want to end on is this. I will say be a little careful when it does come to polls. When it comes to Polymarket, I am not sponsored. I am not affiliated with them. But these are polls that tend to be in favor with Trump when it has to do with money and gambling or betting. However, it is also important to know that when it comes to the majority or really the rest of polls, like a Reuters poll, NBC, MSNBC, and even Fox polls, Kamala is actually leading barely. So she's hardly leading. But again, this is always the most common thing ever with Democrats, that they tend to lead when it comes to these polls. So again, I want to make clear, when it comes to the gambling side of things, Trump is like decimating Harris. But when it comes to the mainstream media and other polls, Harris is winning slightly. So make sure you do understand that and realize that.
The House and the Senate, and they didn't bring up that bill.
I'm responding to the point you're raising, and I'd like to finish.
Yes, ma'am.
We recognized from day one that, to the point of this being your first question, it is a priority